Do you have an item with a story to tell? Experience the Mississippi Antique Showcase April 17 and 18 at the CAPS Entrepreneurial Center in Stoneville. For a $100 donation, you can bring one item for an expert appraisal and enjoy food, cocktails, and PBS Passport membership. Attend as an observer for $60 and watch the appraisals live. Choose your time slot today and be part of this special MPB event. Visit mpbonline.org and get your tickets today.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and I'm so glad to be here. Java, it's been a crazy past couple of months.
Yeah, you've been running around, Felder.
Yeah, this time last week I was up in Illinois. The week before that I was in England. But anyway, we're going to have a good time today. It's not a call-in program because it is live, and we got plenty of stuff to talk about, including folks who are listening on live stream. Java, they can shoot us a note, can't they?
Yeah, it's a special drive time episode, so we don't take traditional phone calls. We do want you to call our drive time number, which is 1-888-372-4483. That's 1-888-372-4483.
Spell it out. What does that mean?
Give. Okay. Yeah. The give.
I've always been number dyslexic, so I have to come up with something. What's the number plus give?
Or you can text the word give. We got a lot of ways that you can participate with Drive. But I say all that to say that we won't be taking your garden questions over the phone. But if you're on YouTube, you can drop a question in the chat. Or you can send an email. I have the email open, garden@mpbonline.org, and we'll communicate that way. We got some great people going to tell you about Drive, some of the great thank you gifts you can get. So it's a little different, but for those who are fans of the Gestalt Gardener and MPB, y'all know how we do.
Yes. And we got plenty of stuff to talk about. I know there's a lot of things going on right now, Java, and I'm real active with the Mississippi Gardening Facebook page. And I know a lot of people don't do social media, but Mississippi, if you're ever going to do one, go to Facebook, Mississippi Gardening, because it's just real people. We got like 64,000 members, and they're nice. If they're not nice, we say bye-bye. And we just keep it to gardening. We don't get into debates about stuff. Here's what I do. And I've got lots of notes from that over the past couple of weeks we can share. But again, we'd like to encourage people to switch over to the live stream. You can go to YouTube, Gestalt Gardener, or mpbonline.org, Gestalt Gardener, and see some of the stuff that we're going to show over the next little while. Plus, I've got a couple of fun guests coming in. We're going to be talking about them. By the way, I got a really bad pun for Kevin.
Well, he's the pun master.
Oh, yeah. People say, I don't think grass be wet in the morning, and somebody say, but it do.
That's a good one.
Here's another one. Space could be filled with vampires, but we would never know because telescopes use mirrors.
You got to use your noggin on that one.
There you go. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I did bring a bouquet. Not a bouquet. It's an arrangement in a pot that I put together yesterday, and I've got it right here. Anybody who's on live stream can see this. But I got my grandmother's. John, I don't know if you can see this is an old wash pot. I used to put them in sinks because we didn't have running water.
Is that what you call is it a basin?
Yeah. It's a basin. It's a porcelain basin. It's white. It's got the little red rim around it. And it's about, a little bit over a foot across. But what I did was I planted up a bouquet, an ornamental bouquet. It's stuff that you can look at. It's pretty. I got shapes and textures and colors and got cascading stuff, spiky stuff, roundy stuff, all sorts of things to look at. It's packed full, and everything in it is edible.
So we just need some ranch dressing.
Some ranch, or some Italian dressing.
Yeah, some little vinaigrettes.
Maybe, of course, I'm for the Italian dressing. I've got basil, I've got 2 kinds of lettuce, I've got parsley, chives, mint, I've got oregano, I've got a variegated sage, I've got some thyme, and it's all cascading out of a pot. And I accessorize it with some crepe myrtle branches that I spray painted green. So anyway,
it's not natural green.
No, it's spray paint.
Okay.
I'm the king of spray paint. Roger Miller's king of the road. I'm king of the paint. But anyway, the thing I want to do, I just wanted to show that you can put together a pot full of stuff that's pretty as a bouquet, and you can put it out, and it's not going to be bothered by the cold next week. It likes cold weather. Matter of fact, it'll let us get sweeter when it gets a little chilly. Anyway, just want to show you can put together something that looks pretty. You can put it outside, and when you get tired of looking at it, you can nibble on it. You can make tea out of it, spaghetti, all sorts of stuff.
Now, quick question, Felder, because you went back and forth. Is there a difference between an arrangement and a bouquet?
I would say a bouquet is an arrangement you hold in your hand.
Okay, all right, I got it. Yeah.
Keep in mind, I studied floral design at Mississippi State under the great Ralph Null. I mean, fantastic. But we arrange stuff into a bouquet. And if you carry it a little in your hand, that's called a tussy-mussy. You ever heard of that?
No, I've never heard that one.
Tussy-mussy. Women used to carry these little small handhelds, and they always show them the smell. But it's because we didn't have deodorant back then, and they carried around fragrant flower. I'm not making this up, Java. That was they had little pocket melons, all sorts of stuff to make to fragrance things up. But anyway, hey, I wanted to show you before we get any further, if we could put picture number 1 up. For folks who are on live stream, you can see this, but I'm going to have to describe it otherwise. Last week, I was supposed to broadcast from an office in Illinois, but I got there 8:30. The office manager wasn't there yet, so I screamed back to the hotel room, set up the footstool from the hotel room on my bed, and I set up a little makeshift studio. So I just want to let you know the reason I was a little out of breath, there it is.
Yeah, you always kind of make do when you're on the road, and because sometimes you do have these nice setups, and the people you're giving talks to will let you in, and you can set up a little formally. But yeah, you also know how to work a hotel room into a studio as well, man.
I didn't make my bed up though, but anyway, I had my MPB cup, and I had a little floral. I took a floral arrangement. Here we go. I took a bouquet from my Mississippi garden to Illinois, and had some paper whites and some daffodils. It had some Nandina bears and a camellia flower. So I was sort of bragging. I was up there because they're still thinking, can we get out to the, the only reason I have picnic tables up north is to see how much it snowed last night. But anyways, I was doing a little bragging on that. There's a lot of things going on. We can talk about those. It is drive time, and we appreciate folks who are tuning in also. And stick with us, because it's not just it ain't just a begathon. Me and Java still going to be talking about all sorts of stuff gardening.
Yeah, Felder, before we take our first break, because like you said, this is Pledge Drive, and we got some great people going to tell you about what we have going on during this short Pledge Drive. Talk about the guests that we're going to have coming up in this hour.
In just a few minutes, we're going to have Eddie Smith, Dr. Eddie Smith. He's a really, really cool guy. He's the extension he's a county extension agent in Pearl River County, but he's also the host of the Southern Gardener. And Southern Gardener is a production of Mississippi State University. Used to be Gary Bachman before him, Norman Winter before him, there was me before them. But anyway, he's not just a garden expert and a hard-working extension professor. He's a much better gardener than I am. We're going to be talking about that in some of the programs he got coming up. But anyway, I got a lot of things to share about henbit and pollen and redbud colors and all sorts of things that you can be doing or maybe not doing quite yet here in the garden. So we're going to be doing the usual Gestalt Gardener, but we're going to take a little break first to talk a little bit about how you can support this program and all the stuff that we do. By the way, Jav, I heard you late the other night interviewing a guy from Jackson State. That was awesome.
Well, I appreciate that, man. That's just one of the shows that we have here, The Blend, where we talk about music. But right now, it's all about Pledge Drive. I want to say good morning to Taiwo Gaynor and Leslie Hebert.
It's MPB Think Radio. I'm Leslie. Today, we're on the air to ask for your support for you to support the station devoted to bringing you factual reporting and thoughtful discussion each weekday. If you haven't been a member in a while and want to help MPB complete the March fundraiser successfully, try us at $8, $9, or $10 a month. I'm joined by Taiwo with more information on how it works.
Good morning, Leslie. It's such a pleasure to be with you. And look, as a not-for-profit, listener-supported public radio station, MPB Think Radio is a community resource that is only successful when it is supported by the community. Remember, MPB holds these on-air fundraisers only a few times each year, so it's important that we hear from you now. This is a campaign to raise money needed to bring you daily news from NPR, afternoon discussion programs, and shows like Wait, Don't Tell Me. People are telling us they've relied on MPB more and more for straightforward information and shows that make you feel smarter. If that sounds right to you, it's important that you call 1-888-372-4483 or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or give at mpbonline.org.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a big difference between knowing what's happening and knowing what's really news. That's why you turn to MPB for serious discussion, intelligent analysis, and in-depth investigation journalism about issues that matter. This isn't a one-way street. We answer to people who trust that NPR and MPB and MPB Think Radio have their best interest at heart. We answer to you. Please take 3 minutes right now to do your part to keep MPB Think Radio going strong. Won't you be our neighbor?
And look, isn't it great when you can do two important things at once? When you give to MPB as a monthly sustainer, you provide a monthly stream of support for shows hosted by locals who love engaging with listeners. You enrich the community at large by investing in public interest journalism, digital and TV-based classroom instruction. Pick any amount between $5 and $50 a month. Call us or go online. Set up your monthly sustainer membership in about 2 or 3 minutes, and you'll be set. You'll be ready to go. So go ahead and call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483. That's 888-372-4483. Or sign up as a sustainer now at mpbonline.org.
MPB supporters help put Felder Rushing on the radio Fridays and Saturdays with Gestalt Gardener, now expanded to 2 hours. Horticulture is one of those topics that require expertise and patience. Felder's got both. So do Malcolm White and Carol Puckett, who heavily season our lives with the rich heritage of Southern cuisine Mondays at 4 with Deep South Dining. Notice it's not just cooking, it's dining. Won't you be our neighbor and support these programs on MPB? Please make a contribution in any amount.
And let me tell you something. MPB sustainers who give just $5 a month or more have an irresistible benefit. PBS Passport, the best thing since sliced bread. You'll get access to on-demand PBS programs through MPB. So if you have Netflix or Hulu, you already know how on-demand video works. Passport is the key that opens up a world of programs like Ken Burns' The American Revolution, Miss Scarlet from Masterpiece, plus hundreds more. This is a free benefit to MPB supporters at the low price of $5 a month or more if you're generous. We would love to sign you up for Passport, so just call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or go to mpbonline.org.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. We really appreciate y'all supporting MPB, but we got some business to take care of, and nothing more businessable than the pleasure of talking to real folks. So we got Dr. Elise Smith on the line. Eddie, you're here with us?
Good morning, Felder. I'm here.
Are you cheerful or what?
Yeah, I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, it's still winter outside. It was a little chilly.
and we're still going to get some. Have you ever heard of blackberry winter?
I have not, no.
Yeah, blackberry winter is it's an old thing. It's when everything warms up and the azaleas bloom and everybody gets real excited. Then we always get that late frost about when blackberries bloom, and they call it blackberry winter. Sort of like what we used to call Indian summer. And I don't know what we call it now, but anyway, it happens every year. And Eddie, people always act like it never happened before.
I always tell people, because it starts warming up and they get excited and they're ready to plant for spring. And I'm like, you need to hold off a little bit. We're probably going to have another freeze come through. Wait. I usually tell people to wait till April 1st.
Yeah, April Fool's Day, that's easy to remember, or Easter, they use traditional Easter. We've had snow in April, but anyway, Eddie, I've known you for a long time, 10, 12, I don't know, a long time. You're with Extension Service, and you're a county extension agent. Matter of fact, I think I met you. You were a 4-H agent at the time, and now you're the county director, but you're the host of Southern Gardening from Mississippi State. Good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. And yeah, I haven't never been just a 4-H agent. I've been an extension agent and I've covered 4-H responsibilities. But I am currently the county coordinator here in Purver County and the extension agent and the host of Southern Gardening, which is my statewide responsibility.
Well, you've been with the Extension Service, 17, 18 years, but you were a school teacher for years before that, like 25 years in public education. But and by the way, if we could get our live stream producers to put up a couple of pictures, picture number 6, and Eddie, you can see this later on YouTube on live stream, but picture number 6 is a picture of me and you and Gary Bachman. And we've always been sort of extension and sort of real gardening, trying to bridge that gap between being accurate from a science point of view, but also being real as hands-on gardeners. How do you manage to pull that off?
Well, and I see the
picture. To put you on the spot.
I see the picture because I'm watching you on YouTube too. So I see that picture. That picture was when we were at the State Master Gardener Conference.
That's right.
A couple of years ago. And so, of course, as extension agent representing the university, I always have to make sure that I provide research-based education to the public. Whereas you and Gary, now y'all are retired, y'all can provide more practical knowledge, hands-on learning tips to gardeners.
Yeah, I mean, you're a daylily hybridizer, but Aunt Mamie just loves that old orange thing, and we got to bridge that gap somehow. But let's put up picture number 7 if we could, because I want to talk to you a little bit. By the way, while they're doing that, you said one time that you do a radio program down in Picayune, and once a month you're live, but you said when you drive home you listen to this program, and you haven't really called in to correct me on anything. Are you just being nice?
I am being nice, but I mean, you usually provide really good information to the public. I have not heard anything that would not disagree with you on. I mean,
I think you told me one time that one of your clients called in to ask you the same question that they had already. Asked me the same question that I already asked you, and we were both pleased we gave the same answer.
Yes, it is too funny. I love that when that happens. And I have other extension agents that'll tell me the same thing. Hey, so-and-so called me from your county. And, of course, they're going to get the same answer from us. But, yeah, I've actually been listening to you live on the radio on my way back from doing my radio program back to my office. And I heard one of my clients call in and ask you a question. They had asked me just a few days before, and you gave them the same answer. I was like, well, that was wonderful.
Well, when I was at the Extension Service, I had the director and the horticulture people standing behind me. Now I've got my mother standing behind me. She's going to smack me on the back of the head if I don't straighten up. Hey, this picture that we just put up, oops, it's gone now, is a picture of me and you at a Hemerocallis Society show, and you won like best in, you won all sorts of blue ribbons from daylilies that you grew from seed that you hybridized. You're not just an expert. You're a hands-on gardener.
Absolutely. I'm a member of the Hattiesburg Daylily Society, and I participated in their show last year for the first time.
First time? And you won a tricolor ribbon or something?
I got best of show for the miniature daylily, best of show. It was a great honor. I was surprised. And the daylily that won is Suburban Blue Mo. It's a gorgeous daylily that's a purplish color with an orange greenish center in it. And it's one of the smaller miniature daylilies, so it's less than 3 inches in diameter wide. So I was completely shocked, but it was a great honor.
I know that you're gonna register some of them with name varieties, and I understand you're going to the 80th National Daylily Convention this year over in Georgia. But let's put up this next picture number 8. I want to ask if this is one of your hybrids that I saw in your garden. Picture number 8. Let's see if they can put that up there. Is this one of yours?
Yes, that is one of mine. And
wow.
I had 102 of my daylily seedlings bloom last year. And so I took pictures of all of them and labeled all of them. But yes, that gorgeous yellow daylily that you have there, that is one of my seedlings.
I don't know if it's yellow or it's not orange. It's not yellow. It's one of those buttery color things, but it's also got almost maroon markings down in the throat, and the edges of it. Is that called? It's not picotee. What's it called? Ruffled around the edges.
It's ruffled is what it is, and the throat does have that beautiful rust color pattern to it that makes it really stand out. But I love daylilies with ruffled edges, so a lot of my seedlings will have ruffled edges on them.
Is it possible to have a white color in a daylily or near white?
Yes, I actually have a couple of varieties that are a white, like a white creamy color.
Okay, yes. I'm thinking maroon and white. Come on.
Yeah,
come on, Doc. Come on, Doctor.
I'll have to work on that.
Well, go ahead.
I had like I said, I had 102 that bloomed last year for the first time. And usually, what you do is you wait to the second year and see how well they do the second year before you register any of them. Mm-hmm. So this year will be the year I will decide if I'm going to keep them and if I'm going to register them or what I'm going to do with them. And I've already given some of my daylilies away at different conferences and meetings that I've spoke at. I just give them away as door prizes and things like that. So some people already have some of my daylily seedlings out there that I've given away.
Because you're a gardener. And I know you got some other stuff to do, and we got a break coming up. But let me throw this out. First of all, are you going to cover anything up you think people in do we need to cover anything up? Because is it going to really get that cold?
I always watch the weather and just make sure if it does get below 32 degrees, I would cover some of my tender stuff up because it's getting that new growth on it, and that tender vegetation can possibly get damaged from freezing weather.
Well, somebody on the Mississippi gardening thing, they want to know should they cover their daylilies in them. I said no. Daylilies grow out in Minnesota, but they got blueberries in bloom. Maybe throw a trash bag over them or something.
Yeah, but no. Daylilies, you do not need to cover them up. They grow way up north, so they are used to the cold weather. And if they get bit back, they'll just bloom. They'll just grow right back out. No problem.
We're gonna throw out one other picture number 9. And while they're bringing that up, you have something blooming in your yard all year long. You post stuff on Mississippi Gardening Facebook. I know you got something blooming all the time. Is it that hard to pull off?
It really is not. If you think about the different plants that bloom throughout the different seasons, you could easily plan to have something blooming in your yard all year long.
Well, this picture I've got up here, can you describe it for us?
So that is our wildflower plot that our junior master gardeners have planted here at our office. And the kids are out there with one of my volunteers, and they're putting out all the wildflower seeds. They did that back in the fall because that's when you usually plant your wildflower seeds. And so they had a great fun out there planting that plot. And
I want a picture of it when it blooms, but I love it. Extension agent are throwing a bunch of weeds out around their office. I love it. It's a new day, Doc.
Hey, I'm all about wildflowers and wildflower plots, and we've even got one over at Poplarville City Park too. In the park, they've planted a wildflower garden over there.
Well, we got to scoot Dr. Eddie Smith. I appreciate you spending a little time with us this morning because it's just I love what you do. I love how you balance the real gardening with extension service, which is real horticulture. One is results oriented, one is process, and you're straddling that line pretty good, Doc. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you for having me on today.
All right. Go do some weed. Go cover something up quick, Doc. See you later.
Bye.
Okay, that was Dr. Elise Smith with Extension Service, a host of Southern Gardening and Java. We need to take a little break and do some stuff, don't we?
Yeah, it's drive time, 1-888-372-4483. And if you're on the live stream, you can see that Felder Rushing t-shirt that you can get as a thank you.
I forgot about that t-shirt.
Now let's go to Leslie in Taiwan.
It's MPB Think Radio. I'm Leslie. I hope you'll take 3 minutes to make a gift that will make a great impact on your life in the coming year. In fact, when you support MPB, you'll make it accessible to hundreds of thousands of others through your sustaining donation of just $10 a month. I'm joined by Taiwo with more on why we're asking, won't you be our neighbor?
Good morning, Leslie. MPB is a listener-supported organization, and we take our public service mission very seriously. If you never had the opportunity to support what you've come to love on MPB Think Radio or TV, we invite you to do it now. You may have noticed that MPB only comes on the air a few times a year to ask for your support. That's not because we need less money to pay for the programs. It's because we want to make sure that we give you more of the programs that you love. So this week, in the short time that we're on the air, humbly asking, I hope you would take a stand with us to support the station that you love. Give at mpbonline.org or call us at 888-372-4483. You can also text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483.
You may not know this, but Mississippi Public Broadcasting is known across the country for innovation in education. We're piloting a program called REACH in partnership with the Mississippi Department of Education through funding from the state legislature in Jackson. REACH is a virtual classroom that uses a technology called eGlass, a clear chalkboard that helps teachers get ideas across in a very creative and concise way. The best part is we can scale it up so that thousands of students will have access to this high-level learning model. Your dollars not only help MPB Think Radio, but you also fund groundbreaking innovation in education. Please do your part right now.
And let me tell you, REACH is a game changer, Leslie. And I mean, the main difference between commercial and public radio is how we do business. Commercial stations exist to serve advertisers. They measure how many ears are listening and sell those ears to advertisers. Advertisers buy commercials and stations make profits. And that's fine. But MPB Think Radio exists to serve the public. We have a mission to serve the community, and in return, we get support from the community. Your $10 or $20 a month donation is an investment in a place that we call home. Get involved right now by donating at mpbonline.org. It's just 3 minutes on the phone at 888-372-4483. You can also text the word GIVE to that number. That's 888-372-4483.
There are obvious things that MPB does for the community, supported by the generosity of people like you. MPB Think Radio, which you're listening to right now, MPB Television, and our educational initiatives. But did you know that MPB's statewide network of broadcast towers and infrastructure serves as the backbone for Mississippi's emergency alert system, delivering real-time weather alerts, Amber Alerts, and Silver Alerts across the entire state? Our goal is to keep that system well maintained for you and your neighbors. Can you help us do that by contributing by phone or by giving at mpbonline.org?
So here's a question to ask yourself. If I don't give to MPB when they're on the air asking for my help, who will? The federal government no longer funds public broadcasting, even though 82% of voters think it should. And that's unfortunate. But MPB relies on individuals like you to keep the station going for the Gulf states. So please call or text GIVE to 1-888-372-4483.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I've got things to share, notes from the Mississippi Gardening. But Java, you said that somebody from the live stream sent us a note.
Yeah, we're not taking our, traditional phone calls. We do want you to call 888-372-4483 and show your support during this drive time. But we do have a question that you can, or space in the YouTube chat where you can leave a question. And I got one from, let's see, this is Jacqueline. And Jacqueline says...
Jaqueline. Sorry.
I've got some newly planted zinnia plants. They are small. Will they survive Monday night temperatures. Oh, is this supposed to get cold Monday?
Yeah, it is. But, and matter of fact, it's probably going to freeze in part of the state. That's a really hard one. First of all, yeah, a freeze can kill young seedlings, even hardy plants, zinnias and tomatoes and stuff like that. A frost might not, but here's the deal. This really sunny during the day, and the sun is warming the soil up, and if you go out there and water really pretty good, that water will absorb and retain some of the warmth. And down close to the ground, it may not be that cold. So a lot of times in town, plants that freeze out in the country don't freeze in town because of radiated heat and all like that. But if you're not sure about it, it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and put some little sticks out there and just throw a sheet or some plastic, something like that over it, not to where it touches the plants, but like a little tent. If you're really worried about it, go ahead and put some little sticks out there and make a little low tent and make it go all the way to the ground so it captures and retains warmth radiating from the soil. I think that'll help. We do have a lot of questions right now about covering plants. And, this happens every year. Blackberry winter, it happens every year, and a lot of people jump the gun. But anyway, we just have to wait and see. Eddie Smith and I, we wait till April. We're not in a race with anybody. We got all summer to do stuff, so not that big a deal. I would like to throw up a picture, if I could, real quick. Picture number 2, if we could show this. These are blooming right now all over the place. And a lot of people call them weeds, but we call them wildflowers. That's henbit and dandelions, purple and orange. And this is a good color. It's almost like Alcorn State colors there.
It is a little purple and gold. Purple and gold.
But these are just really good plants for a lot of reasons. They grow low. They provide nutrients when they die down. They're great for pollinators. And we have this thing called No Mow March. Java up north is No Mow May. But a lot of people go out and they start mowing the grass early. If you could put off your mowing the first 2 or 3 times you normally do, wait until April to start mowing. These wildflowers are not going to hurt your lawn. They die down. As soon as you mow them, they're gone. But meanwhile, there's hungry pollinators out there. They're starting to find stuff out in the woods. A lot of stuff's starting to bloom now. But if you could leave just a few patches of these here and there in your lawn, mow around them, they're pretty. All of them are perfectly edible. Dandelions, henbit, they're all edible. Wild onions, wild garlic, all those things. But also, it's good for pollinators. And then when you mow them, your lawn will be okay. It'll be okay. If you got somebody in the family that's just real neat, have them mow a circle or a square around them. Give them some lines. Give them some Java. Some people just need containing. Yeah,
they have to make it quote unquote right.
Yeah. So get them to mow around them and leave them in a pattern. That helps quite a bit. Also, picture number 3, I took this picture just yesterday, Java. This is, I got a green truck, John Deere green.
Yeah, it's not green anymore.
No, I took my finger and I wrote "wash me" in the yellow pollen. But I got a green truck that's green and yellow. There's a lot of pollen out there. A friend of mine at the pub says that he is a pilot, and he came flying into Madison, a little small pilot. And came and he looked down and he couldn't believe it. The pollen that was blowing, it looked like a fog in the wind. Is that much pollen out there. For an airplane pilot, it looked like it was fog rolling out there. Anyway, this time next week, I'm going to be howling at antihistamines, so it's just one of the things you got to do.
Yeah, they've been showing helicopter footage from one of the news outlets here of the pollen clouds above the trees. So it is thick, and no matter what color your car was painted, right now it is a yellow. It is a hint of yellow.
And we can sort of celebrate that. We sort of. By the way, I also saw on the Mississippi Gardening Facebook somebody wanted to know about how to get rid of mistletoe in their tree. They had a big tree with a lot of mistletoe up in it, and people say, "Well, we used to shoot it out with a .22 when I was, shooting mistletoe," and people talking about climbing it, cutting it out. Here's the deal on mistletoe. First of all, it is a parasite. It does take energy and nutrients away from your trees. But when it grows on a plant, its roots grow through the bark and wrap around the branch under the bark. sort of like having somebody's hand around you, and you put your jacket on, their hand's still around your wrist. And if you break it off or cut it off, it's just going to sprout back out. It's a bush. It's going to sprout back out. But if you do manage to kill the mistletoe, when it dies, all of its roots die, which are under the bark, so that whole limb's going to die. So the mistletoe, is it great? Not really. Is it bad? Not really. And there's not much you can do about it practically. And even though it will weaken trees and kill some limbs, I've been watching mistletoe all of my life, and I can show you pictures of mistletoe that is over 100 years old in trees that are over 100 years old in England. It's not likely to kill your tree. Not much practice you can do about it. Just relax. It's an interesting life form. Think of it as a Stephen King movie in your own backyard. The tree is saying, "Get it off, get it off." But anyway, ignore the mistletoe. It's not that big a deal, and dealing with it often does more damage to the tree than the mistletoe. We're going to just cut that branch off. Well, that's counterintuitive. You're going to cut a branch off because it got mistletoe on it. Anyway, enough of that. We do have a lot of questions like that come in, and I enjoy sort of dispelling myths. I did have one other picture I want to show Java, and it's drive time. We appreciate that. But picture number 4. I actually took these things. I broke off a redbud branch of a redbud tree, and I took it to get some color swatches at the paint store, trying to find out what color is redbud, because it ain't red.
No, not at all. It's like a pinkish purplish kind of.
Yeah, well, see, that's it. I got all these paint swatch things. You get it to match paints and all. I spread them out there. And I had like 6 different shades of pink or pinkish, including one is what I call pink. And I put the redbud flower on it. The redbud flowers have all of those in them.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. Why is it? Now I have to show my ignorance. Why is it called redbud?
But this is an interesting question. I don't want to do too deep a dive, but up until fairly recently in the history, we didn't have a word for pink.
Oh, okay.
There's a plant called dianthus, Sweet Williams, and the little flowers, the edges are sort of snipped around, ragged around the edges, and that's called pink because they were called pinks. That little ragged edge is called pinking. Matter of fact, they're pinking shears. There's scissors that cut in that thing.
Yeah, I know that. Uh-huh.
But because pinks were called pinks, and then all of a sudden, then they started, we'll just call other stuff like that pink, even if it's pink. Anyway, it's just little oddball things that they keep the ennui at bay. What color is pink? Well, let's take some of it to Lowe's and check it out against their paint colors. Anyway, horticulturalist Felder Rushing. We have a really interesting interview coming up in the next hour. Elise Smith, who is just wonderful. So stick with us for that. But meanwhile, this is drive time, and I've got plenty of stuff to yak about. Folks on who are on the Facebook thing, the live stream, can send us some questions that Java and I will share them in just a few minutes. But meanwhile, let's take a little quick break and come back with more Gestalt Gardener.
You're listening to MPB Think Radio. I'm Leslie. It's important that we take a few moments every year to support the people and organizations that are meaningful to us. If MPB is a place you come to daily for thoughtful discussion, for NPR news, for news about what's happening in your own backyards, now is the time to get involved by donating. Won't you be our neighbor? I'm joined today by Taiwo with details on how you can help out.
Thank you, Leslie. The March fundraising campaign is one of the most critical for the entire year at MPB. Every moment we're on the air asking for your support, we hope that you'll get in the spirit, step up, and take action. We're inviting you to join us as a sustainer of this not-for-profit public radio station that's $5, $8, or even $10 a month. It's the easiest and most convenient way to support everything you love on MPB Think Radio. Local discussion and news, weekend programs like Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, and Gestalt Gardener. Please donate by calling or texting the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or go to mpbonline.org.
This campaign is about how much you learn when you put MPB on, whether that's first thing in the morning or in the afternoons. That includes in-depth stories from our team of reporters, advances in life science from NPR's Science Desk, and touching conversations Friday mornings on StoryCorps. MPB provides an essential service in your life. It makes you more enlightened every time you tune in. Now is the time to chip in and support this service. The great part about supporting MPB is that you choose the amount that's right for you. Just give what you think is fair.
You know, one of the reasons people say they give to MPB is because they want to be a role model in their family and in their community. For many people, volunteering, giving money, or lending their talents to nonprofits or their church is just something that they were brought up to do. Maybe that resonates with you. If you normally donate to a number of organizations at this time of year, please think about a donation of $100, maybe $150, or even $250 or more to support an organization solely devoted to acting in the public's interest. You can go ahead and call 1-888-372-4483 or hit the Donate Now link at mpbonline.org.
You may be wondering how MPB Think Radio can successfully deliver all of these programs daily for your donation of $10, $20, or even $25 a month. Well, it's because your neighbors and folks who live hundreds of miles away are pitching in what they can too. It all adds up to be the most reliable source of funding for MPB. We receive support from businesses, foundations, and the state. So MPB is not going anywhere. But there's no more money from the federal government to support programming. Making new programs every day is costly, but with your help and with so many others pitching in, we can make it happen together. Please support all that you hear by giving at mpbonline.org or call us at 888-372-4483.
If you agree that listener-supported funding model is the best way to protect and nourish MPB news, music and discussion programs, and educational television, please do your part for MPB right now. The reason this is public broadcasting at its finest is because people who rely on it step up and show support during fundraisers like this. But we need to hear from you now. Please call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and if you're tuned in on a live stream, or if you want to check it out later, if you're not listening to watch it on a live stream, go anytime, day or night, 24/7, and check out Gestalt Gardener on YouTube, or go to mpbonline.org and check out the Gestalt Gardener, and you'll see this bouquet I brought. I'm gonna lean forward here, right here, see if we can get this is not just a pot full of stuff. Look, I've got mint, I got cascading stuff, I've got variegated stuff, little flowering thyme. And nice part of oregano, all sorts of stuff here. And the nice part about it is I can carry it with me. If I get stuck on a roadside job, I can eat roadkill out of that thing.
With some nice garnishments.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Anyway, you said we got some stuff from the online.
Yeah, we got a couple questions to run through real quick. But I also want to say good morning to Margie on the YouTube. This morning we were talking about what do we call the container for your arrangement. Yeah. I said a basin.
I call it a wash tub, but it ain't a wash tub.
But Margie said we call it a dish pan.
A dish pan. Of course it's a dish pan. And get this, Java, maybe I shouldn't go here, but this belonged to my grandmother that had a hole in the bottom, so she threw it up under the house. And it's a wonderful container. Well, she also threw a chamber pot under the house. Same white porcelain, same red rim, with a hole in the bottom, right? You don't even know what a chamber pot is. You're too young to know this.
I am.
Okay. But anyway, you know what I planted in it?
What?
Petunias.
Okay, so we have a question from the from the email, garden@mpbonline.org, and it says, "Hi, Felder and Java. Got a daffodil question. What is the best time to divide daffodils that are crowded and blooming less? I think these are 7 sisters, and this is from Sharon in the Natchez area."
Great question. A lot of people dig daffodils when they're in bloom because they know where they are, or they cut them down when they get through blooming because why not? Daffodils make their flower bud and new bulbs for the next year after they've normally finished blooming. So if you dig them now, you divide them, or if you cut the foliage early, there goes next year's flowers, next year's new bulbs. So what I would do is I would mark the ones that you want to move, put a little stick out there, or somehow mark where it is, and give them at least 5 or 6 weeks, or better yet, till the leaves flop over or turn yellow. You can find them because you marked them, and dig them, divide them then. Let's let them give their best chance at making next year's flower buds before you dig them. And by the way, braiding, for some people, Java, they take the leaves and they wrap them sort of like some young women do their hair. They just tie it up. That does as much damage. Not damage. It cuts down on next year's flowers and bulbs as if you had just cut it off. So if you can just leave them alone, mark the ones you want, and dig them, divide them after then. Right now, you can move daffodils in full bloom, or whole clump. But if you divide them into individual plants, that stresses them. They're not going to make next year's bulbs. A long answer for let's just wait. Wait till they die down.
Now let's go to, this is another question from Garden at mpbonline.org. The email is open, but this is from Susie in Water Valley, and she says, I saved my cone flowers all winter in a brown paper bag, thinking I would get seed from the heads to plant now.
Yeah.
Despite all my efforts, the seeds refuse to separate from the cones. Any tips to accomplish this?
Yeah, coneflowers, zinnias, sunflowers, all like that. Sometimes you have to use what we call mechanical separation. What I do is I get a colander, or just, you put them in a bag, just rub them, just break them all up in little pieces, and you're not going to break the little seeds. They're real small. So if you take a rolling pin to them, if anybody still remembers what a rolling pin is, now that we're talking about dishpan. But anyway, mechanical separation. Sometimes they have a hard time just letting go. By the way, coneflowers, you could plant them now, but they may not bloom this year, maybe next year. A lot of these wildflowers bloom better if you sow the seeds in the fall, because they naturally go over the wintertime. So anyway, hope that helps. Who else we got?
Yeah, well, I do want to say good morning to Sean the Gardener tuning in on YouTube. He's watching from Cornwall, England.
Okay, that's the guy, Sean. He's the guy that had the friend with the 9-year-old banana.
From 2 weeks ago.
And he's the one who last month told me about rainbow-colored snail poop. So, and he's from Lancashire. I guess he and his wife must be vacationing with her family down on the South Coast. Anyway, thank you, Sean. Good luck.
Good morning, Sean. And Sean had a comment about the daffodils. He said, I let my daffodils die back first because they draw the green back into the bulb.
Huh. Oh, that's true, but that makes me wonder, because the Sean I know, I don't think he grows daffodils.
Oh, okay.
So it must be another Sean over in Great Britain. But anyway, yeah, that's another way of putting it. It draws the green, but actually the green is already going down there, but it gradually uses up and doesn't get replaced.
Okay.
Good question, though.
Now, Felder, we're coming up on the end of this first hour because it is drive time, and if you have it within you, 1-888-372-4483 is the number to call, or you can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to that same number, 888-372-4483. Tell us what we got coming up in the second hour.
We got an interview with Elise Smith, a fantastic gardener, but also a real scholar. She's Professor Emeritus from Millsaps. Wrote a very interesting book, co-wrote it with Judith Page from Florida, called Southern Women, Southern Landscapes. It's an exploration of how women and gardening have influenced the South. And really not just the South, but all across the South. It's going to be really interesting. And Elise is a good gardening friend of mine as well. So we got that. Plus, we're going to show pictures of a red, white, and blue. If you want to do a patriotic garden, and we're just going to kick around a bunch of ideas. By the way, it is not too late to prune. I know you plants have got new growth, the figs and roses. I know they're all leafed out. You were to cut that stuff off anyway. If you haven't pruned, and it needs pruning, go ahead and prune it. And we'll talk about that and covering plants for the frost after this. But anyway, we're going to take a little break, talk about drive time. A T-shirt, a Felder T-shirt. We'll be right back.
This is MPB Think Radio. I'm Leslie. If you feel a sense of belonging here at MPB, we think you belong here too. Won't you be our neighbor and support MPB right now? Support this statewide television and radio service that brings you thoughtful discussion and innovative educational programs for kids. Take 3 minutes to give what you think is fair. Maybe that's $10 a month. I'm joined today in the studio by Taiwo.
Thank you, Leslie. MPB is a commercial-free source of discussion programs, news, and ideas that keep you on your toes. People have told us that they learned about something they never knew that they cared about just by listening to MPB Think Radio. If that sounds like you, then MPB is your station, one that thrives and grows on listener support. What's cool is that when you give $10 a month as a sustainer, you'll receive a PBS Passport membership benefit. Thousands of hours of on-demand programs will be at your fingerprint tips when you do that. We hope that you would do that. It'll be part of MPB. So when you call 888-372-4483, text the word GIVE and to that same number. That's 888-372-4483 or go to mpbonline.org.
Here's why your support is so critical in the future of programs on MPB. It helps keep MPB here on the radio and all through the digital education services online at mpbonline.org. Your contribution assures that on the Gestalt Gardener, Felder Rushing will be here to walk the path with you to solve vexing problems in your garden with humor and heart. We rely on you for the majority of our operating costs, so please do your part now.
Look, $10 a month may not sound like a lot of money, but as a sustainer, you will have a meaningful impact throughout the year. That regular stream of support for MPB will help us bring you the high level of service you expect that's online, on radio, and on television. As a sustainer, your ongoing gift of $10, $20, or even $25 will automatically renew each month. If you're already a sustainer, you can also call us right now and increase your monthly giving by a few dollars to help us better serve this community. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or do your part as a sustainer at mpbonline.org.
What is it that brought you to MPB Think Radio? Did you stumble upon it one weekend? Have you moved from another state and you intentionally searched for public radio? Whatever way you found MPB, welcome. You have heard us say that this is listener-supported radio devoted entirely to making you happier, healthier, and smarter about things going on in the world. It's about the family, and as a supporter, you become part of our family. Give $50, $100, $200, or donate monthly. Maybe that's $5, $10, or $20. It's totally up to you. Take the first step at mpbonline.org by clicking Donate Now or call us at 888-372-4483. That's 888-372-4483.
Now look, if you've been giving to MPB Think Radio for a few years now, thank you. Thank you so much. You keep local programs flourishing here on the air and online at mpbonline.org. If you've never taken the plunge, we'd like to welcome you as a sustainer at $10, $20, even $30 a month. You can call or text GIVE to 888-372-4483 or take 3 minutes to do your part at MPB Online. And look, thank you very much.
I don't know if you realize the power that one person has to make a difference in this world. One by one, people are standing up for the local programs and podcasts that you find only here at MPB. People from Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, and beyond. They do it out of love for our shared community. They do it because they believe that being well-informed is good for society. Go ahead and call now, 888-372-4483.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Do you have an item with a story to tell? Experience the Mississippi Antique Showcase April 17 and 18 at the CAPS Entrepreneurial Center in Stoneville. For a $100 donation, you can bring one item for an expert appraisal and enjoy food, cocktails, and PBS Passport membership. Attend as an observer for $60 and watch the appraisals live. Choose your time slot today and be part of this special MPB event. Visit mpbonline.org and get your tickets today.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. You tune in the Gestalt Gardener. It's a local production of Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and we call it Think Radio. And a lot of times it's about Java, as you know. Is it too late to prune my azaleas? How do I fertilize my roses? Low-level cognitive stuff, which I adore. I love it. It's gardening stuff, how to get rid of mistletoe. We'll just leave it. And matter of fact, I got a
what you reaching for, man?
In my pocket. On the Mississippi gardening thing yesterday, somebody wrote, if we have below freezing temperatures Monday night, should I cover daylilies that have started to come back? And I wrote one, I said, nope.
Just simple and plain.
Sometimes you just got to cut to the chase. Anyway, I've got a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful opportunity to talk to a woman that I've had a lot of admiration for a year, Elise Smith, Dr. Elise Smith. Sorry, Elise. I'm retired university. You're professor emeritus from Millsaps, but I know you in your garden. And one time, my partner Susan and I came over. You were out in your garden in the Belhaven area of Jackson, and we were sitting out there, and she noticed an old bicycle tire in your water garden. And this is a woman that has an atavistic cellular level fear of snakes. And she was sitting right by a big old water snake, and she went. She just said, and you said, isn't she beautiful?
And she didn't think so.
No, she didn't. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you as a gardener, but primarily I want to celebrate your new book, and I just want to give the name of it, Southern Women, Southern Landscapes. And it just came out, University Press of Mississippi, just came out, and it is a lot of stuff in here. You and Judith Page, she's a professor emeritus is she still teaching in Florida?
Nope, she's living in Raleigh now, North Carolina.
Oh, cool place. I was just in Raleigh just a couple of weeks ago. Cool place. But anyway, Judith Page, and you wrote this book, and it's really, you celebrate women who look for identity and through their gardens, through the landscapes. And we're talking about not just gardeners, but artists and writers, but they're looking for inspiration in what you call the storied landscape. What's a storied landscape? Come on, Doc.
Oh, it's a landscape that tells you all kinds of stories, lots of narratives when you walk through the landscape. I think that's so important, even in just our ordinary gardens today, but especially when we're thinking about the history, these sort of historical gardens that have been restored. Yeah.
You know, a lot of I just gave a talk, I give a talk frequently, it's called Over and Under the Fence, Plants as Social Connectors. You know, because it doesn't matter who you are, who your mom and them are. If you grow orange daylily, when they bloom, when orange daylilies bloom, common old vulgar outhouse ditchbank lily, when they bloom all over the world, you can see connections between people because they don't set seed. Everyone is grown by somebody. There's connections, and they don't care who you are. And your garden, which by the way, let's put up a couple of pictures real quick. Picture number 10, if we could put this one up on YouTube. By the way, you can see this a little bit later on. There we go. Look at that. Can you see that? That's your yard. That Vitex blooming.
Yeah.
You were growing Vitex before they're popular. And it's been around forever, lilac chase tree. But I also had another picture number 11, that I took myself of your garden. And you live in a pretty tight little urban area, nice little neighborhood, but you have little grass. You got a bunch of weeds in your yard.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But you have a nice little border, and it's full of wildflowers that come and go, but you have the orderliness of the lawn, the edging, you know, the human scale of the chair, and the chaos of these flowers side by side. There's a lot of tension and relaxation in that yin-yang thing.
Yeah, the figuring out how to balance those out was really important to me, and thinking about how to make the garden spaces. So we started out with tiny little borders all around, and I immediately said, this isn't right.
Yeah.
The scale was all wrong, so we kept adding more and more.
Well, did you know that, or did you just feel it?
I just felt it.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. That's the reason you wrote this book. So, and you ended up, what a lot of people do is, instead of, we carve our flower beds, we make the flower beds a shape. Well, a person bid out a lawn, they make the lawn the shape. The lawn becomes, but I want to get to your book, but let me show one more picture of you, just because this is the Elise Smith that I know, picture number 12. This is one that had the snake in it. See if you can put that up. That is some nasty work, Doc. That is some nasty. I did the same thing in mine, but mine I could bail it out with a bucket. You were down there in the muck.
Oh, it was something, bullfrogs, jumping around me. It was intense. A lot of mud.
Yeah, that's plain. I mean, that is not what we picture as a professor of art from a university, from a college.
No, and I'm holding up one of these huge water lily roots, and those were heavy things to try to dig up because they had spread so much.
That's some muck. That, when I look at that picture, I can smell it. I can smell it. That's a unique smell. Anyway, bottom line is, you're a real gardener. I met you decades. I hate to say decades ago, but it's been. We were thinking about starting a little perennial club or something, and I remember you and I clashed. I said, we're not going to call them Latin names, we're going to call them by folk names, and you said, no, we're going to use Latin.
I feel strongly about that. I love the common names, but I love the Latin names too.
Well, as a matter of fact, just one of the things I found interesting in your book, you had written about one of my favorite garden writers, Southern garden writer, Elizabeth Lawrence from North Carolina. She was a landscape architect back when women didn't do that, and she wrote stuff. But she and Carolyn Dorman, who's from Mississippi, they had totally different approaches.
Yeah, Dorman's Louisiana.
Louisiana. I've actually been to her place. It's been years and years ago.
Briarwood.
But she, Dorman said that she didn't really like the poetry of common names. You wrote in here, she called them cute, but believed they were based more on ignorance than on imaginative flair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hardcore.
I know. Lawrence loved the common names, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
And,
you know, she said Lawrence values sweet country names. And I first came across that in her book, Gardening for Love, sweet country names for plants like Crybaby and Bowling Lady and Sky High as a Nosebleed. Yeah. She used to write about people who wrote for the Mississippi Market Bulletin. And I think that was...
It was Eudora Welty that introduced her to the Mississippi
That's right.
Market
She
Bulletin,
sent her a copy of it, and they ended up corresponding. And their correspondence is just... It's real people... But not just real people or real gardeners, but also intelligent people who happen to have that connection that I'm not trying to be misogynistic, but guys don't have that. We don't just, we don't cry together over flowers and things.
Well, I've done a lot of work on the correspondence between Lawrence and Caroline Dorman, and hoping to get a book out of their letters. But they wrote so much about plants, but also about their relatives who are in bad health and their own physical problems and their despair about trying to get things published. So just that sort of, in all possible ways, getting to know each other. They only met each other twice, very briefly.
Well, but they knew each other. They were sisters.
Through their
We have a
letters.
book. There's
Exactly.
a book called Brothers of the Spade. These would be
Sisters of the Spade, Sisters of the Shovel.
Well, I really want to get into that a little bit more. We got to come up on a break, but before we do that, how did you choose these women? We just got a few seconds.
Yeah, oh my God, it was really hard. Doing a lot of looking into possibilities and who had letters and other archival material that we could look at.
And it's black and white, old and young,
Right.
but mostly across the South. You and Judith did a book on gardeners from England, but this is about Southerners.
That's right, four
Okay.
main states that we looked at.
Well, we're going to take a little bit of a break because it's drive time, and we're going to come back. Elise, thank you for coming in. We got plenty of stuff to talk about with this book because I'm just fascinated.
Sure thing.
There was I had an old book called Women Illustrators. It celebrated the paintings back when women didn't do that, and they were magnificent. So anyway, I'm glad you're bringing it to the forefront. We can talk more about it after this break. My guest is Elise Smith, and we're author of Southern Women, Southern Landscapes, and we're going to come back with more of the Gestalt Gardener right after this.
Thank you for listening to MPB Think Radio. I am Taiwo Gaynor, and this is our March fundraiser. We're welcoming each and every MPB listener to become a supporter. We hope you'll take care of that right now. Become a monthly sustainer or give $100 all at once. We'd love that. Won't you be our neighbor? Here's Jermaine Flood with more.
Thanks, Taiwo. Giving to MPB Think Radio is like investing in the community's understanding of the world and ourselves. Invest $10, $15, or $20 a month as an MPB sustainer. You'll support thousands of hours of news and thoughtful discussion each year. That's the beauty of public broadcasting. Since the beginning, we found that most reliable source of our funding has come from the community. Maybe you own a business and you're a sponsor. Maybe you're able to offer a matching grant for pledges or drives. You're a sustainer who can add a few dollars to your monthly support. All of it is pooled to make MPB Think Radio an important voice in the community. Our phone number is 888-372-4483, or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483, or take 3 minutes to do your part at mpbonline.org.
When you make a contribution to MPB, you're giving a gift to yourself and to the whole community. Free access to radio that ignites the imagination and illuminates the world. But the truth is, MPB Think Radio isn't a given. There's no guarantee that this service will continue to grow and improve unless the people of Oxford, Meridian, Biloxi, and everywhere else in between invest in it. Right now, we're asking you to make a decision. Do I raise my hand and support something I believe in? And the answer should be yes. We're ready to take your call online and for you to give an online contribution.
That's right. Now, you probably give on a regular basis to help others. Now, why not give yourself the gift of news and daily enlightenment? Become a sustainer. Sustainers are people who make monthly contributions that automatically renew. That means every week, month, and year ahead, you'll never have to worry about whether your membership is current. You won't feel it in your purse or wallet, but you'll definitely feel better informed every month. Become a sustainer by calling us at 888-372-4483 or sign up online at mpbonline.org.
You know, Jermaine, one of the things that I love is that MPB Think Radio is one of the few stations in America that devotes so much of its time to exploring important topics with hosts who are from right here.
That's right.
In our communities. From healthcare or home repair, from money management to gardening, from legal issues to fun places to visit like Next Stop Mississippi. All of that local programming, some of which we also hear on the weekends, is expensive to produce, but so worth it. And if you agree and you want to help us keep doing more of it, please make a gift in any amount to support this one-of-a-kind, not-for-profit public service. It only takes a few minutes to support what you love at mpbonline.org or call us at 888-372-4483.
Now, speaking of supporting things that you love, you know, around here, St. Patrick's Day, we love that. And it lasts a whole week, especially since we celebrate the green every week on Gestalt Gardener with Felder Rushing. It all comes together in our newest limited edition t-shirt, the Emerald Green Felder Rushing St. Patrick's Day t-shirt. You gotta have it. We got one in your size. Just be prepared to give us your size when you call or give online. $60 all at once or $5 a month as an MPB sustainer, and you'll get a kick out of the design. I guarantee it. Call or text the word give to 888-372-4483. That's 888-372-4483 or donate at mpbonline.org.
Look, here's the truth. Okay. Smart, engaging radio cannot exist without smart, engaged listeners. It's a two-way street. So when you support MPB, you become a co-producer of the trusted journalism and shows that make you think. Please do your part to keep this service thriving for everyone, to make the difference between a service that simply survives and one that grows and thrives. If you've never supported MPB before, I'm talking to you. Mm-hmm. It takes only 3 minutes to make a big difference. How about $10 or $20 a month? Our phone number is 888-372-4483, and our website is mpbonline.org.
Now, MPB is a listener-supported station that supports you with NPR News and morning music and afternoon discussion programs that have a local perspective. They're made here for the people of Mississippi and beyond. We promise to steward your gift responsibly in a transparent manner. In fact, you can check on your investment in MPB by turning on your radio, asking your smart speaker to play MPB, or launching the MPB mobile app. Donate by calling 888-372-4483 or do your part at mpbonline.org. And thank you.
All right, back. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and my guest is Elise Smith. Elise, you brought a Tussie Mussie from your yard. Hold that thing up.
All right.
Okay, it's just a little bouquet. Java asked earlier the difference between an arrangement and a bouquet, and he had not heard Tussie Mussie.
I didn't know what that was.
So what all you got there? This came from your yard.
That's right. I've got a little orchid here that grows in the garden. I've got Lady Banks rose and Cornelia rose and a little muscari or great hyacinth and what else do I have here?
Carolina jessamine?
Yep, Carolina. This was almost all the blossoms went with the rain, too bad. And a Peggy Martin rose, and there's a bud of a...
And that's just a little bouquet you give, but you also brought this big bouquet of stuff. I mean... You got azalea, you got hellebore. I can't imagine you would cut flowers from your yard. I won't even eat my kale because I think it's pretty in the yard. But you've got the native Carl honeysuckle. Yeah. There's just so much blooming in your garden right now. And do you do a lot of, other than weeding and stuff like that, you don't do any kind of spraying or anything like that?
No, they're just on their own. You know, I water occasionally. When I plant something new, I'll keep it watered. In the droughts, but mostly things are just on their own. I figure, in a freeze, you got to survive it or
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
In
And
the
you have
drought,
something in
gotta
bloom
survive
every
it.
week of the year. You choose good plants, you plant them well, and if there's going to struggle with water, other than that, it's mostly thinning and weeding and that kind of stuff. Well, I want to talk more about your book, though. Let's pick. If we can, let's put up picture number 15. It's not in the order that I've got. Picture number 15 says a lot. I mean, you've got Merle Evers, Margaret Walker. This is a group that was called the Spade and Fork Garden Club.
Right.
And a lot of people. My great grandmother was a garden club member. My grandmother's garden club. But in my little hometown, my great grandmother gave lectures for a group called the Crepe Myrtle Garden Club, which is an all black garden club. And that is a way of connection. It's sort of like church. A lot of people don't go to church, but they go to the garden club, and they don't talk about. They talk about beautification and sharing and community. It's a direct. Unlike the churches, the gardening clubs affect the community and the neighborhoods around them. Have you noticed this? Is it just gardeners that do this?
Well, one of the things I've noticed about garden clubs, I'm working on an article now about garden clubs, is the way in which there were some women who wanted to be part of the garden club because they could dress up and they could go someplace and they could, show off flowers, but basically chat and gossip. And then there were other women like your great-grandmother who were really tired of that kind of socializing.
She would come home after garden and just write furiously about the do-gooders. We want to have flowers and do stuff, and they wanted to have tea.
Pearl is a favorite of mine now after I've read some of the papers that you showed me. But,
she raised me. She called me little professor when I was 10.
Is that right? She knew what was coming. Yeah, but she was one of those who said, if it's a garden club, we need to be out there digging. And so there was definitely a divide between the women who wanted to be more active as gardeners and those who just wanted to socialize. And then in the South, in the period in the 1920 to 1960 or so, garden clubs were a way for women to become civic-minded and politically minded.
The garden clubs cleaned up our towns. Starting back in the 1930s, they cleaned up our towns, but also they influenced the men who are the legislators and the judges and the lawyers. They had a real story, and they got together and almost planned how there was a quiet revolution in decency through the women, through their connection through gardening. Because that was a safe way. But your book, Southern Women, Southern Landscapes, the subtitle is, here it is right here, Cultural Reflections of the Garden. But I had another note here someplace about women who look to land for identity and inspiration, but changing the world. In the introduction, you said, we dedicate this book to women who shared our passion for gardeners, real and imagined. What do you mean, real and imagined?
Well, there are gardens in literature that are not real. There are gardens in paintings and other forms of art that are not real. There are also gardens that were real gardens and no longer real because they haven't been kept up. They haven't been restored. So there are a wide range of ways of thinking about gardens. Gardens as cultivated, but also gardens in the natural world, in a sense. So I have come to think, as an art historian, people often say, well, so where are the paintings in your book? Well, and there are some paintings. Why do I
do that? Let's put up picture number 13, and this was, I think, Clementine Hunter's one of her paintings.
Yeah, and there are definitely some paintings. This wonderful one, she loved zinnias, and she always turned to face them straight out, so it's looking at you. She said those zinnias.
It's called Picking Flowers, but it also has what looks like a swan holding up the hem of her skirt.
It's a goose.
A goose.
Yeah, it's a favorite motif of hers, that goose holding up the skirt.
But this is not just imaginative. She's saying something in this picture.
Some people have also called it Uncle Tom picking flowers, the older man at the top, because of Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, and who is from pretty close by. Many people think one of the plantations nearby. So it's possible that Clementine Hunter did that as well.
So she was not just painting what she wasn't imagining things so much as she was saying what she saw in her mind. She was expressing and sharing, and that influenced other people who she talked to and saw her work and all. So there's a web out there, and your book goes all the way back to from the 1870s to like 1970. There's been a revolution. Early 1800s, women weren't supposed to, see and be seen, to make the tussy-mussies and all that. But they were doing stuff behind the scenes. And your book, which is easy to read, but it's very scholarly. I mean, you have more references in the back than I've ever seen, because that's the doctrine you coming out. But it's just incredible, the connections between women across the South who were encouraged and bolstered to do stuff in their own community because they didn't feel like they were alone.
That's right. Things they could do together, not only in their individual garden clubs, but then in the federations of garden clubs. So the garden clubs, there was a black federation of garden clubs in Virginia and a white federation of garden clubs that would sometimes have interactions that are important to recognize, and other times were very much differentiated from each other. Well,
and unfortunately, we're out of time. I'd love to have you come back, but I know that Elizabeth Lawrence's garden has been restored. I've been to it in Charlotte. But I wanted to, just from this book, University Press just came out, Southern Women, Southern Landscapes. There's a poem in here that says a whole lot. That I forget who it is. Somebody. She said, "Earth, I thank you for the pleasure of your language. You've had a hard time bringing it to me from the ground to grunt through the noun to all the way, seeing, feeling, smelling, touching, awareness. I am here."
That's Anne Spencer's poem. That's such a beautiful poem.
Wow.
Yes.
It's just incredible. Well, it's a masterful work. It opens my eyes up to connections that I knew were there, but I didn't understand. And you're doing a lecture on it tomorrow in Jackson at the Mississippi Museum of Art, downtown Jackson.
10 o'clock, right.
10 o'clock?
Yeah, anybody can come.
I just can't believe it. And to see a real gardener writing about the way other real gardeners have influenced our society across cultural lines, not just racial lines, cultural lines, educational lines. It's just been incredible. It's been incredible.
Thank you so much, Felder.
I love your book. I mean, it gave me gave me goosebumps. Anyway, Elise Smith, thank you so much. Have you cleaned your water garden out this year?
I did it last year. It comes every 3 or 4 or 5 years
that I get around to do that. Well, here's hoping you don't find Mr. Snake out there,
right.
Or hope you do anyway. But anyway, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Folks, this is Mississippi Public Broadcasting, the Gestalt Gardener, and it's been my pleasure and an honor to talk with Elise Smith, author of Southern Women, Southern Landscapes, by University Press of Mississippi. Thank you so much. I'm going to see you in your garden soon.
Oh, I hope so.
I got a flower from you from my great-grandmother.
Good.
We'll be right back, folks. Stick with us.
This is MPB Think Radio. I'm Marissa Vaughn. We're inviting you to join MPB in our effort to make the Short March fundraiser a success so that we can bring you all the news you need and the thoughtful discussion you crave. Remember, these drive time campaigns happen only a few times each year, so it's important that we hear from you now. Won't you be our neighbor? I'm joined today in the studio by my friend, Jermaine Flood.
Thanks, Marissa, and I will be your neighbor.
Yeah.
Now, for you, a contribution to MPB Think Radio is a no-brainer. You want these programs in your life and to make sure others have them too. That's the essence of our March campaign theme. Won't you be our neighbor? Every day we're given the privilege of serving communities across Mississippi and the Gulf region. We can truly say that we're doing our part to keep our friends and neighbors informed and enlightened. Won't you make a gift right now? Do it for yourself. Do it for friends and family and people who share your values. A sustaining gift of $10 or $12 a month would be fabulous right now. Our phone number is 888-372-4483. That's 888-372-4483, or click donate now at mpbonline.org.
You know, researchers are trying to create artificial intelligence that would write news stories. As you can imagine, AI isn't nearly as good at telling stories and reporting the news as human beings.
No, ma'am.
People like Desiree Frazier, Shamira Mohammed, and Elise Gregg. Our news and public affairs director, Teresa Collier, she's not a robot. Wilson Stribling, I don't think so. And how could artificial intelligence take us on an audio journey like Radiolab? When you support MPB, we invest in people because our listeners are people. Please help us keep it real by making a contribution right now.
That's right. Now, there are things that Mississippians don't agree on, but year after year, there's been bipartisan support for Mississippi public broadcasting. That's because as neighbors, we have a lot to be proud of and a lot of reasons to be on the same page about education, culture, music, and other good things in life. Won't you join others right now and be our neighbor by making a gift to support this listener-supported station? Do your part, and we'll turn around and make your life better each day.
MPB provides free resources to parents and teachers statewide, including lesson plans, virtual learning tools, and early literacy programming. During school closures or emergencies, MPB becomes a lifeline for continued education. But with no more federal funding, those services are in jeopardy. This week, we're asking you, our MPB listeners, to help in any way you can. All it takes is a gift in any amount. You can give by calling us on the phone or by giving at mpbonline.org.
Now, one of the great things about public radio is that we invite everyone to give according to their capacity and their level of devotion to their community. If you can donate $100 a month or more, that will make a big difference as we plan for more news, smart conversation in the afternoon, and MPB's nationally recognized early childhood education efforts. Please consider joining a group of donors who give $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 or more. What you're really investing in is when you support MPB, it's a stronger statewide information network for a stronger region. Please call 888-372-GIVE. That's 888-372-4483 or donate online at mpbonline.org.
There are firsts for everything. First love, first car, first time sitting on a 36-million-year-old log at the Petrified Forest in Flora.
I did it?
Yeah. If you remember the first time you found MPB, you may have thought, where has this station been all my life? Well, MPB has been serving the state for more than 50 years, and somebody else is going to discover it for the first time tomorrow because of what you do today. A gift of $60 would be great right now. Just text the word GIVE to our phone number, 888-372-4483, or give at mpbonline.org. There's nothing like the first time.
Now, that's important today, T-O-D-A-Y. If you decide to give today, you'll be filled with a sense of pride whenever you tune to MPB Think Radio. This is a community-supported station that always puts you first. We have you in mind every time we go on air with programs that reflect us and our culture. Please call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or do your part at mpbonline.org, and thank you.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. Before we go any further, let me mention, when I get off the air, I gave a talk last night at the Bolivar County Library in Cleveland. It was it's a huge crowd. And while I was there, this woman says she has a magnolia that was planted when her house was built back in the 1970s. So that's over half a century old. She said the magnolia tree has completely taken over the yard. It's huge, but the ice storm broke it up. And want to know, can she prune it or cut the top out? Would it branch back out? And I'm thinking, as a horticulturist, yeah, you could do that. You could do some pruning and some restoration, all like that. But as a practical person, come on, it's still going to be boogered up. So why not just call it characterful? And you don't have to have perfection in the landscape, but something that's characterful. And she looked at me and I said, it's like sort of like me. I didn't know I was going to grow up to look like this, have white hair growing out the rims of my ears and stuff like that. I said, I don't need plucking. I'm just characterful. Anyway, sorry about all that.
No, I like it. I can dig it.
But when I get off the air, I've got an hour to go back to my house, get my truck, and go back to the Agriculture Museum. Back in the 1980s, we started a herb garden, and it's got herbs and culinary herbs, some medicinal herbs, and also some heritage plants. And I'm giving a talk at noon today, and because of grant from the Mississippi
Humanities Council.
Mm-hmm. They're not charging for it. So anybody who wants to come to this, I'm going to be giving a lecture starting at noon, maybe 5 minutes or so after, in the main building of the Agricultural Museum. And after that, we're going to walk over and look at this herb garden. It's looking pretty good, considering nobody's, it doesn't get regular attention. It's got a lot of interesting stuff going and blooming there right now, and a little woven, a lot of historical stuff. So anyway, let's start from noon till 1, or if you want to stay and go to the herb garden afterwards, at the Ag Museum today, the 13th, February the 13th. Anyway, what do you say? We got an email?
Yeah, we got a couple emails, and again, this is a special drive time episode, so we're not taking your phone questions, but we do want you to call 1-888-372-4483 because we need your support. Also, Amanda, if you're listening, we're going to get you squared away. Amanda, we want to thank her for her contribution, but she also had a question about the Felder Rushing T-shirt. Okay. We're giving away a T-shirt with your, was it like Muppetized?
Muppetized, the garden Muppet.
Yeah, Muppetized face on it. So, Amanda, we appreciate that. I got your email, and we're going to get you squared away. But we also got a question in the email, and it kind of goes to what you were just talking about, kind of maintaining a nice and pretty yard. What trees could I use as privacy trees that will be easy to maintain / prune in ridgeland? I've had some suggestions, but I would like to know your opinion. Many thanks, Catherine.
It's a really good question. It's a common frustration of folks who live in urban. And some people don't like to be around revolting humanoids. They just got to screen them out. And there are some good trees. You want something that's going to be ridgeland. The gardens are fairly small. Average gardens are small. You want something that's going to grow upright and be either evergreen or dense twigs to give you that privacy. My first choice would be bald cypress, plain old ordinary bald cypress. They have real, they don't have a lot of leaf litter. They don't fall over in ice storms. They don't break apart. They're drought tolerant, and they got a lot of real dense twigs. So if you put them 6 or 7 feet apart, they make a really nice screen, even when they drop their leaves in the winter. There's also our little gem magnolia, which is a more of a large shrub than a small tree. It's evergreen, and we've got some native plants like cherry laurel, but you can't find those for sale anywhere. But any of the evergreen shrubs like wax ligustrum, red tip photinia, they're going to be fast growing. What I would recommend, and this is the important thing, is do a good job of soil preparation, loosen the roots up, but a small plant will actually outgrow a bigger plant of the same species every time. So don't go with the biggest one you can find. Get the next down small one, and it will actually catch up and pass a bigger one every single time. And also, soil preparation is going to be important. Mulch, loosen up roots when you put them out. Don't just pull them out of the pot and stick them in the ground. This is what makes plants get established and grow faster. So regardless of what you plant, how you plant them is going to be important too. Here's one other thing, Java, and I mentioned this in Cleveland last night. Somebody commented after we were done. If you go out in the sun and it's hurting your eyes, you hold your hand up just where it shades the sun from your eyes. You don't have to blank out the whole sky. Just move your hand around till it blocks out the sun, and you can do that with what's called baffle. It's a piece of a fence, not the fence that goes from the ground up. It goes from wherever you want at the top down. So it's like moving your hand up and down to block out the sun or a view. So if you put a couple of posts out there, 6 or 8 feet apart, and some crossbars, and then put any kind of fabric, it could be fence boards, it could be lattice, anything like that, immediately it blocks out that view. So, move your hand around, find out what view you want to plant, and then put a baffle there. You can grow a vine on it. You can put birdhouses on the post, whatever. But think for instant gratification, cheaper than a shrub. There's a couple of posts and some lattice, and just again move it around, not from the ground up, but from the top down, and put it exactly where you want to hide this specific view, and then put you some shrubs on either side of that. That was a long answer.
Yeah, but I mean, was it Catherine? Yeah, Catherine in out there in Ridgeland. She had some suggestions. Had gotten some suggestions, but she wanted to know what you knew. Same way, like when we had Dr. You've had 2 doctors on today.
And both of them Smith.
Yeah,
Eddie Smith and Elise Smith. Doctor.
When you had Dr. Eddie Smith on, sometimes you just want to know if you're going in the right direction, so you ask the same question to multiple people, you know?
Yeah. And by the way, a lot of people are wondering about pruning because their plants, their roses, at least some roses are already starting to bloom. If you did get around to pruning stuff that you're normally going to prune, it's okay to prune them. Yeah, you're cutting off a lot of growth, but those parts you cut off would have been cut off a month ago anyway. And all it does is it causes the plant to sit back a little bit, regroup, and it'll put out real stronger, more vigorous growth. So don't put off pruning just because you got leaves out there. As far as this cold we're having next week, if you got blueberries that are, small enough where you could cover them, anything in bloom, that'd be fine. I wouldn't worry about normal stuff, normally cold hardy stuff. Elise Smith and I were talking. She doesn't cover anything. I don't cover anything up, and we have lots of stuff out there. So I would only worry about either stuff that's in bloom that's real tender, or else things that really probably shouldn't be out there anyway.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble. You shouldn't have been outside.
Yeah. If they could take the camera and focus on my little arrangement, this little herb garden I did, I've got everything in here. The lettuce will get sweeter after a good frost. The oregano, the mint, the thyme, the sage, the parsley, they love cold weather. They'll go right through the wintertime. And the chives, the only thing that I would be worried about is I put a basil plant right there in the middle. And the basil won't make it through the cold. So either I need to pull it out and put it in a pot and then repot it next week, or else just drag the whole thing. And that's the nice part about having a tabletop herb garden. I could bring it in the kitchen.
Yeah, and that'll be just fine.
Yeah, but anyway, if you're going to cover something, here's my tip. If you're going to cover something, make the cover go all the way to the ground. You're not just trying to knock the cold temperatures and cold wind off. You're trying to capture heat that's radiating from the soil, and there's a lot of warmth out there. So if you're going to cover something, all the way to the ground, and then when the sun comes out the next day, uncover it, because it'll steam a plant real quick. Leaving them covered when the sun is out sometimes does more damage than not covering at all. Anyway, we got plenty of time to yak. If you want to keep joining us, I'm going to see some of y'all at the Agriculture Museum at the Herb Garden right after starting at noon today. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, really pleased. We got herbs and flowers and vegetables and heirloom plants and native plants and all sorts of stuff out there, and I'm going to get to brag on what master gardeners have been taking care of. We'll be right back with more of the Gestalt Gardener here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting.
You're listening to MPB Think Radio. I'm Marissa Vaughn. On the first day of our March fundraiser, so many people have already stepped up to help MPB serve the community by doing their part. I hope you will join your fellow MPB lovers right now. I'm joined by Jermaine Flood with the details on how you can be our neighbor this March.
Thanks, Marissa. Here's your opportunity to put your money to work to support a nonprofit that's part of your life on a weekly basis. MPB Think Radio. You'll support a station that's devoted to helping you explore health and wellness, legal and financial questions, and good old Southern cooking. Have you gotten hooked on It's Lit, y'all, with Mississippi Book Festival's own Ellen Daniels yet? Won't you be our neighbor and support everything you hear on MPB Think Radio? To do your part, please call or give. You can text that give to 888-372-4483 or visit mpbonline.org.
MPB relies on our contributing listeners for the most reliable share of the funding that pays for everything you get when you turn it on. We don't send you a bill. We don't have a limit on the number of stories you can consume. Instead, we rely on the honor system. Today, we're asking you to think about how much you listen. Think about why you choose MPB over other stations. When you contribute to MPB, you're actually contributing to a healthy democracy. Do your part right now.
That's right. Now, with automatic renewal, monthly sustaining memberships are the easiest to manage. And it's also the best way to help MPB predict monthly income so we can plan news coverage, local programs on Think Radio, and podcast series with confidence. As a sustainer, you pick an amount to give $5, $10, $15 a month. Without any additional steps, your contribution automatically renews each and every month. More excellent radio and television, an easy, convenient way to support what you love. That's what sustaining membership is all about. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or become a sustainer online at mpbonline.org.
MPB's audience is responsible for supporting local news and news from NPR. And one major thing that sets this service apart from hundreds of other public radio stations in the U.S. is our afternoon schedule. They're local programs focused on local people and issues that matter to MPB listeners. A true reflection of who we are and what we're thinking. That's why we're asking you to help out during this campaign. MPB is a free and accessible resource, but it costs money to keep it on the air. Please take 3 minutes to make that gift right now.
Now, this is something I can get behind. You can get involved in supporting a station that's giving Mississippi something to think about every day, MPB Think Radio. And guess what? We'll enter your name to win one of 4 pairs of tickets to see Wilco live in concert April 27th.
Okay.
Now, today's drawing has been making the phone lines and the online light up around here for a chance to see the legendary band in Jackson at Dooling Hall in the center of Fondren. A pledge isn't necessary to enter, but we'll hope you'll be as generous as you can when you call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483. Again, that's 888-372-4483 or donate at mpbonline.org.
MPB extends its reach beyond Mississippi to nearby states, providing vital services to those who rely on our newsroom and locally produced programs. MPB Think Radio is part of the Gulf States Newsroom, which brings you insight into what's happening in our region through reporters who live in the places they report about. It's funded by local businesses and our legislature, and by people who care deeply about it and give what they can each year to help to keep it financially sound. I hope you can be one of those people right now. Give $50, $100, $200 or donate monthly. Maybe $5, $10 or $20. It's totally up to you. Take the first step at mpbonline.org by clicking Donate Now or call us at 888-372-4483.
Now, at MPB Think Radio, we take this mission seriously. As a listener-supported station on radio and online, MPB answers to the very people who make this work possible through their contributions. That's what public radio is all about. And now that public broadcasting has been defunded by Congress, your support is more important than ever. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483. Make a difference. 888-372-4483 or do your part online at mpbonline.org. And thank you.
All righty, back. Welcome back. Jermaine Flood, I can't listen to her without smiling. She's so cheerful. She's so cheerful.
Oh, yeah,
100%. Her and Kamal King and the interaction you have with them. Before we get back, I was listening to the blend the other day. You were playing some tunes. I was driving someplace. And it always surprises me. You segue from this to that. I mean, how do you come up with the blend of tunes that you play? Is it just you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
It says a lot about you, young man.
But it's really just that. I mean, it's just the blend,
Yeah.
Like I pride myself on having a wide palette for music, and I have to often remember I'm not the only person listening.
Oh yeah,
we have to just play a variety.
You play some eclectic stuff, but I was listening. You got me intrigued. I was listening to some Booker T. I got a request for you. See if you can find Booker T singing "King of the Road."
Okay, from Booker T and the MGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, King of the Road, all right.
It is awesome. I am going to be going to the Agriculture Museum when we get off there, starting about noon or so. Going to be I got a whole program put together on heirloom plants, how to get away with some native plants that are good garden plants, and then we're going to take a tour of the herb garden.
You know, this question came up just yesterday because Next Stop Mississippi, Thursdays at 4 p.m., is always a cut up. But what is an heirloom plant?
Oh, the word comes from inherited tool, an inherited loom. When somebody died, the family business, they kept the weaving loom. And it became an heirloom, so it became an inherited tool. And so now an heirloom is anything that was passed down.
Okay.
From my grandmother's this I've already forgot what we call this now. I call it the wash tub.
Dishpan.
Dishpan.
Yeah.
It's from my grandmother. It's an heirloom for my grandmother. Not only that, but because it's over 50 years old, it's considered an antique. Antique means it's been around for half a century or more. So I've got an antique heirloom dishpan with herbs growing in it. Okay,
yeah, because we kind of hit that mark where it's something that's kind of been passed down.
Yeah.
But is that the same thing as a pass-along plant?
Well, pass-along plants can come from anybody. You get it for somebody, got it for somebody, got it. Like that old orange daylily Elise and I were talking about. You see orange daylilies all over the world. It doesn't make seeds. Every time you see one, it came from somebody's garden. So you said there's connections, but heirloom is something that's inherited. It's usually a family thing, a family heirloom.
Okay.
Pass along is just something you dig and divide and share with people. And by the way, I want to show this. I don't know if they close they get on this. I bet you've never seen one of these before, Java.
No, I want to call it an amulet. It's
an amulet. It's glass, it's hanging thing. It's got a little wings on it, and it's blue. And on the bottom of it is hollow.
Oh,
see?
Okay.
And it's got the little things in there. This is what they call a witch ball. In Europe, they used to hang these outside the houses. You know this thing about bottle trees and capturing spirits and all like that?
Yeah, I know about that.
That's not just, Arabian, Northern Africa stuff. But they hang these out, and at night, allegedly the bad spirits or witches would go up curiously. They would go up in that hole and get caught up in it and trapped the next morning. The sunshine would destroy them. This is what's called a witch ball, which is sort of a European formalized version of a bottle tree.
And to me, it looks about $250.
Yep. Well, I don't know. My cousin made this for me.
Yeah, no, but that's pretty cool. A witch ball.
I hang it outside you know what? I hang it outside the door to my cabin. So far, as far as I know, it's working.
Now, Felder, I hate to even say it, but we come to the end of another 2-hour trip, man.
No. We need another hour.
It happens fast, but today's a special day because it's drive time. We got another pledge break to let everybody know about supporting MPB. But you're going to be at the Ag Museum in just a little bit.
I am, and then I'm going to give a talk at the Georgia Perennial Plant Association meeting in Atlanta next week. It's just a crazy time of the year, and luckily my garden is full of plants that take care of themselves.
There you go.
And I got this little pot full of herbs. I will take it with me and show it off. Anyway, folks, if you get a chance, we appreciate you supporting MPB, supporting the Gestalt Gardener. I hope you enjoy the Felder T-shirt. Kind of a weird-looking thing, but it's okay. It doesn't look any weirder than me. But if you get a chance, it's a great weekend to knock around the yard, mow around a few wildflowers, leave a few, take a kid to a garden center, make you a pot full of herbs, and show them how to do what we do best, and that's get dirty. See y'all next week. Thank you so much, Java. I appreciate your hard work a whole lot.
Always, man.
It's MPB Think Radio, and I'm Taiwo Gaynor. Today we're on the air to ask you to support the station devoted to bringing you factual reporting and thoughtful discussion each weekday. If you haven't been a member in a while and want to help MPB complete the March fundraisers successfully, try us out at $8, $9, or $10 a month. I'm joined today by Jermaine Flood with more on how it works.
Thanks, Taiwo. Now, if you're just tuning in, MPB Think Radio is in our short March fundraising campaign. We all need to be better informed and have a place to come for peace, quiet, and self-care. MPB Think Radio is that place. You make it all happen when you decide to get involved now. If you're considering giving for the first time, thank you for being our neighbor and for supporting the neighborhood you live in. Help us bring radio programs here on MPB and education services to Mississippi students. Please donate by calling or texting the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or at mpbonline.org.
Public radio is a partnership. MPB Think Radio and NPR work together to bring you news coverage unlike anything else on the radio. And we're in partnership with you. Each day, we do the best possible job we can to bring you an experience that's informative and enjoyable. In exchange, we ask that you make a financial contribution to help MPB out. Your contribution is vital because listener support is MPB Think Radio's most reliable source of income. Take a moment right now to donate like your neighbors are doing.
That's right. Now, the theme of MPB Think Radio's March fundraising campaign is Won't You Be Our Neighbor? It's more than a song on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's the spirit of neighbors helping neighbors when disaster strikes. When people need help, we give it, no questions asked. So today, MPB Think Radio asks for your support to build up our reserves since federal funding was eliminated last year. I hope you'll step up. Please make a tax-deductible gift to MPB Think Radio right now.
Wherever you call home, Tupelo, Natchez, Meridian, Fayette, and everywhere else in between, MPB is there with you and for you. Our mission is to reflect the character of people and places that make our towns and cities our own. You can keep it going with a contribution right now. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or go to mpbonline.org. Thank you.